African, Slavic and Arab girls must maintain their cultural heritages because embedded within those cultural heritages are queen habits. And there is an erosion and attack against your cultural heritage as a woman who is from an African, Slavic or Arab background that actually hurts you. Welcome to Project U 7.0. This is such an important conversation. And I would like to say hello to my Slavic, my Arabian cousins, because these queen habits, there are similarities with them across the cultures that are so important even if you're not a woman from this background, but especially if you're a woman from this background, that you maintain and you uphold. And please know, I'm not trying to cause a division between the black race, but I can speak about the African culture and these habits that I'm going to describe to you. A true African auntie, a true African grandmother, great-grandmother, it is so embedded in the culture that you as an African woman, it's within you. And if you were in the diaspora, it could have been something that you have lost. This is also to my Slavic and my Arab girls. When you reside and a big part of your life is within Western culture, do not lose the fact that you are African. Do not lose the fact that you are Slavic. Do not lose the fact that you are Arabic. Do not lose the fact that you are that girl from that culture, from that heritage. Because these queen habits that we're going to dive into are what makes you so absolutely magnetic. Number one, I must always start with God, and this is regardless of religion. I'm talking about God. There is only one God, regardless of what faith you serve. There is only one true God. And I believe within these cultures, a woman understands, I rely and I lean on God. That type of woman just moves differently. She has a stillness about her. I don't need to rush. I don't need to be in a hurry. I don't need to worry. Even when things are frantic, even when there is a huge storm, she's able to maintain this level of peace, this level of just stillness that only comes from God. And I think it's so important that as you move in and out of Western culture, you don't lose God. Because I'm going to say this, I personally find in the Western culture, the relationship with God is a lot weaker. It is not at the forefront of the community, the culture, the way we live. And maintaining God within your life just provides this level of stability. Number two, I think with God comes this aura. An aura of I'm magnolia still. I know some people call it resting bitch face, but I call it magnolia still. This is where you have a softness and a gentleness, but woe betide the person that dares to cross you. Woe betide the person that dares to betray you. Because as an African and a Slavic and an Arab woman, I find that these women have tight and strict boundaries. Don't cross my boundaries, don't betray me, be very loyal. Otherwise, I will cut you off. I think this is so important because as a woman, what you don't want to be is you don't want to be so desperate for external things whereby you accept any type of behaviour. Your friends are not kind to you, your boss, your business partners, your relationships, they don't hold you in a high esteem because they know your boundaries are very, very low. I think these women, the best way for me to describe it, as someone who's an African woman myself, my find out energy is so high, like people don't even try to find out. They don't even try to find out. I think it's FAFO. People don't even try to FA me. They really don't. Do you know why? Because they understand without me being rude, without me being aggressive, they understand if you cross the boundary, you get to go. And most people actually respect the boundary because they know it is a very strict program. If you are one of these girls, maintain your strict program. Do not be like the la-di-da girls who have got no boundaries. Anything goes, anything. No. Maintain that boundary. I would say number 3 is presentation. And this is why I started. I said African girls. I mean, I'm talking in the actual continent of Africa, not what the media portray. And I know this is subject to the class and the type of people you associate with. But presentation, my Slavic, my Arab girls, and my true African girls, they do not mess around with the way they present themselves. I grew up in a household where my mother said, never ever look like you have come to help in the kitchen. Meaning, at all times, it is so important that you are well presented. The Western world, look, this whole messy hair bun, I'm walking around in joggers and I just look like I'm running around dilly-dallying like a hot mess. It's a hot mess. The girls won't like to hear this, but it's a hot mess. Not being well presented is a Western ideology, and I know Slavic girls are white, but a different form of white that has been given to white women to look unkept, where they are allowed to look. No, you look a hot mess. I promise you, you look a hot mess. And as an African or as an Arab girl and as a Slavic girl, what I love about my cousins, what I absolutely adore is you will always come together, come to the occasion looking well put together. You'll always be well groomed. Hair is done, makeup is done, outfit is done, well put together and dressing for the occasion. And I would also say in the sense of modesty. This is why I personally love. I also feel as someone who is heavily based in like Western world, my feet have to touch African soil because I have to remind myself of who I am, always put together. And I would encourage you, if you are not this girl, there are going to be naysayers. There are going to be people who encourage you to just look messy. The princess treatment that you receive from looking well put together is something every woman should experience at least once in her lifetime for a good decade. You need to at least have spent your 20s or your 30s or your 40s or your 50s enjoying this privilege. And once you enjoy the privilege, I promise you, you won't ever go back. It amazes me how I get treated and how people just do things for me where I'm just like, on what planet? I am actually a princess on this earth, but on what planet? And I think it's so important, maintaining that grooming. The Slavic girls, the Arab girls, the true African girls know, be groomed. I would also say, and I'm going to share with you when I realised I was slipping too much into Western culture. I went back home and I was underdressed, and for the United Kingdom, absolutely, I wasn't undressed. But for that side of the culture that I went back home to, underdressed. Girl, do not lose yourself. Do not ever lose yourself. Okay, number 3 comes into actually dating and relationships. This is number 4, dating and relationships. My Slavic, my Arab girls, my African girls, please understand. Maintain it for womankind. These women understand you can only be in love with the man who is providing for you. Western culture, other cultures want to promote this notion of love with empty fridges and a woman that's suffering. Absolutely not. Can I just start on the biblical principle of this? Firstly, the Most High, God himself, has put as a mandate a man must provide. So who are these women and these people that are convincing women that it is okay to be doing 50-50 in the name of love? And this is why I absolutely adore my Africans, my Slavic and my Arab girls, because when they are true to their culture, they stand on business, because there is absolutely no way that they will be laying next to a man who is not providing for them. Because what sort of madness is that? Darlings, you do understand it is absolutely mad to be saying, my man, my man, my man, and you are holding the bills. What man are you talking about? That just doesn't make sense. And I know this is really uncomfortable, but this is where you have to love yourself first. And on that note, on the loving yourself first, this is another thing that these women have got down pat. My aunties, my cousins, my Arab girls that I know, my Slavic girls love themselves. So their obsession is with themselves. I personally feel, for me, I can't speak on anyone else, but I'm obsessed with myself because I'm obsessed with God. God is within me. God comes first, then I naturally must come second. So the most important thing in my life has to be myself. Being obsessed with themselves, they treat themselves well, they look after themselves, they nourish themselves, they look after their bodies. They really are very ambitious and go-getting when it comes to life. Love that. And this is something you have to ask yourself. If you're from this culture, or if you're not from this culture, do you actually love yourself? And you know when you love yourself by the way you treat yourself, by what you actually tolerate, what you give access to, what you don't give access to, how you live, the money in your bank account. This is very important. Money, let's talk about it. The girlies love money. And I know society wants to label a lot of African women, a lot of the Slavic girls, I would say, especially the Russians, have been labelled as gold diggers. The Arab girls, darlings, you seem to have missed this stray, are generally not labelled as gold diggers. Maybe now it's starting, but they're not labelled as gold diggers. But one thing that you need to have as a queen habit is you need to like money. You need to like money in all shapes and forms. Firstly, in relationship, because when you don't like a man giving you money in a relationship, you are just an unpaid. You are also the maid. You are the unpaid maid, the unpaid cleaner, the unpaid fill in the blanks. And you have not been called on earth to do that. So they love money in the sense of one receiving it, or like money in the sense of receiving it. And I say like because I think you should love God and like money. They like money in the sense of receiving it from others, but they're also very ambitious and very cutthroat when it comes to making money. I would definitely say, and the UK culture will not appreciate me for this, it breeds people who are not go-getters. It breeds unambitious, jealous, envious women who do not want to get their money together, who want to look unkept, who don't want to look their best, and then we're all meant to clap for you. On what planet? And I think this is so important, because these women understand whether I make it myself or whether someone gives it to me, money's important. Money is what gives me the lifestyle. Money is what gives me security. Money is my defense. And in God's word, I would say if you're of the Christian faith, it does say money is a defense. And they stay true to that. They stay true to that. And I think it's so important. The last thing, this is what actually inspired this conversation. And let me know, especially if you're coming in, if you're a Slavic girl, if you're an Arab girl, let me know if I'm off point or on point. But this is what my observation has been from my social circle of friends, from my own community, and from the African side, actually in the